Welcome back to Carson Tate's video log. Today I'd like to talk to you about beta readers and getting the best bang for your beta. Say that 10 times fast. Well, don't. Let's just talk about beta readers. So, beta readers are great folks. They read either as an author is writing or after an author is done with a manuscript to try and catch all those mistakes that we make along the way. Spelling, punctuation, grammar. Story sucked. Story was great. Give us all kinds of feedback. But the problem is, we don't always use our betas for everything they're worth. I know when I started out, I didn't know what to do with a beta. Just gave them my stuff and said, read this, tell me what you think. Well, that's kind of vague. And, there's always that possibility they don't want to hurt my feelings or they want to hurt my feelings too much. Just kidding. That's never happened. But rather than using them just to catch all those typos we make, you can really get some mileage from your betas if you give them some direction. And this is where my legal practices come in handy, because we learn two different kinds of questions when it comes to trial litigation. Direct questions and leading questions. Now, all of you have watched Law & Order or some other legal show, and some attorney's asking a question of the witness, and the other attorney on the other side jumps up and yells, "Objection! Leading!" Well, here's the deal. I challenge you to object to any leading questions that you ask your beta. So what's an example of a leading question? An example of a leading question is something like, "Isn't it true you like the story? Isn't it true?" It's a yes or no answer only. They either yes they liked it or no they didn't. Okay, well that one might be a little obvious. But a less obvious question is, did you like the ending? What's someone supposed to say to that? Yeah or no? And then what do you do with that answer? Can't do much with a yes or no answer. But what you can do something with is an answer that causes them to describe what they liked about something, what they would change, or what jarred them out of the story. So I have a list of questions, and I tailor this whenever I am to the story, whenever I'm asking someone to do some beta reading. These are questions I generally ask at the end, but I give them the questions up front so that if I am giving them a story piecemeal, which I don't usually do, then they at least have these in mind as they're reading. So just a few random questions. Are there any words that you feel were overly, improperly, or inappropriately used? Are there any particular scenes that don't seem to fit with the rest of the story? Or with the portions that surround them? Can you give me a page number and a reference and tell me what it was about the scene that didn't jive with the rest of the story? Sex. Was there enough? Too much? Did the sex scenes fit with the story? Would you like to see them more fully developed? Who wouldn't? That's just a throwaway question. Are there any other aspects of the story you'd like to see more fully developed? What do you think that development would add to the overall story? Let's see. Are there any aspects of the characters that don't ring true? If so, can you tell me what they are, and what is it about them that bothers you? What, if anything, about the characters do you want to know that you don't get from the story? And get some interesting answers on that one. Does the timeline make sense? And that is kind of a yes or no question, but I do want a yes or no answer. But I have a follow-up. Tell me at any point during the story when the time aspects were confusing. It's okay to ask a leading question as long as you have that follow-up question to go with it. Are there any other inconsistencies that might jar the reader out of the story? List any additional comments? I come up with some different questions depending on the type of book that I'm writing and things that I think of as I'm going through. So, how to get a bang for your beta. And thanks to all you folks out there who beta read, because it's an unpaid occupation, and all of us authors truly appreciate the hard work you do. I think it's hard to read a book when you're not just reading for enjoyment, but when you're reading it for work, like to work to help an author out, because I know that when I crack open a book from one of my favorite authors, I'm just like gulping it down to get the story. And when you're having to read it just to look at all those details, I know it takes a lot of extra effort. And I know I truly appreciate the folks who beta for me, and I bet I speak for authors everywhere, that we all appreciate all the hard work that you do. So feel free to email me off list as betas or authors if you think of any other ideas to make this process more fulfilling for everyone. So thanks for joining me, and this is Carson Tate's video log, Bang for Your Beta, signing out.